7-step plan so that you can focus longer on your habits with paper. So I'm going to show you the exact way you can use paper so that you can get more done every day. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up our day. So for this, you're going to get a blank piece of paper and you're going to fill out these blanks. So at the top of the page, you write month, day, year. You fill that out, whatever today's date is. And then you'll name this time tracking or habit tracking. And then at the top here, you write time you woke up that day and then time you slept that day. The reason why you want to write time woke up and time slept so that you know how many waking minutes you were awake that day. So if you're awake for 930 minutes that day, at the end of the day, you can see how many of those minutes were productive. Step 2 is you want to focus on one habit at a time. So you don't want to multitask, you want to give your full focus on one single habit at a time so that you can finish it faster and it will be easier to do. So what you want to do is you put a nightstand next to your bed, and then before you sleep, you put this paper next to your bed. So that way when you wake up, you can start this so that you can stay focused and productive all day. So what you want to do is you start off by writing the single task that you want to focus on. So let's say when you wake up, you fix your bed. So the idea of this is you get the idea of the task that you want to focus on and you get it written down on paper. So with this, I wrote fix bed. Let's say later, maybe you do habit 16. Or let's say you drank 1 cup of water. So you choose how much you want to do of this. So you could do it for all your daily habits. You could do it just for your most important daily habits. Like you could write down bathroom. Okay, I want to use the bathroom, write that. Or I want to charge my phone. You write that. But if it stresses you out, just write less stuff. So once you have the habit that you want to focus on, let me show you what you do next. Now step 3 is you want to get a timer. So once you have the task written out, then you set a timer. And then you start that one habit that you wrote down. And you focus on it until you finish it. So let's say fix your bed. So once you finish the habit you've written down, you will have a total time that took. So let's say to fix your bed, it took you 6 minutes and 55 seconds. So what you do is you write that down. So 1 fix bed and then 6 minutes and 55 seconds. And then you go on to the next habit that you want to focus on. So it's like for me, since I like to maximize my productivity, I literally do this for as many habits as I can. At least the ones that take a minute plus. So like maybe the next thing is use the bathroom. So I wrote that down and then I set the timer again, and however long that takes, I write it down. And then I keep on doing that throughout the day. You can copy that if you want, or you could do this with just the habits that will help you the most. But if you struggle a lot with procrastination and focus, I recommend doing this at least at the start with as many habits as you can. And remember, habits that take 1 minute or longer. So very small things like blowing your nose or tying your shoes, you don't need to track that. Just the habits that you want to focus on and that you procrastinate on. So this is very good for training your focus and training your self-discipline. So while you're focusing, you might ask, what happens if I get distracted? So what you want to do is step 4 is you want to track your distractions. So that way you can find ways to solve it and stop it. So for example, let's say at 1:30 p.m. So you want to write the time you got distracted and the reason. So for example, let's say at 1:30 p.m. you got distracted from a TikTok notification. Now once you're aware of the thing that stopped your focus, now you can figure out ways to solve that. So maybe let's say 1:30 p.m. you're trying to focus on reading. So a potential solution is you turn off your notifications when you're reading. So that way you can solve the problem. So let's say the habits that you're trying to focus on is, let's say, online business habits. So what you could do is, if you still need to use your phone or your laptop when you're doing those habits and you need to have it on your desk ready, what you could do is you can get your distraction tracking paper. And then when you're trying to focus, like let's say when you're reading or you're writing or you're doing habits that don't use the phone or computer currently, but you still need it, what you can do is you get your paper and then you just cover it up like this. Or if it's your laptop screen, you just cover up the laptop screen with your paper. So that way you can still have the electronics on your desk and still use it whenever you need it, but you wouldn't get distracted by it since the paper covers it up. Out of sight, out of mind idea. So big thing when you're trying to focus longer is you need to eliminate all the distractions. And once you have little or no distractions, then it'll be a lot easier to stay focused and consistent a lot longer. This step is how you can turn regular habits into a game. So what you want to do is get yourself a folder, and then you want to name this Success Habits Progress. So write that down on the Sharpie and then put some Scotch tape on the folder. And then what you want to do is when you're writing down your habit progress every single day with the habits that you're tracking, what you want to do is you want to keep your best day on your desk. So that way you can use that to motivate you. And also you can say, okay, if I did these many habits and I focused for these many minutes on success habits this day, let me see if I can try and beat that. So if I did, let's say 20 habits, and let's say I was productive for 610 minutes that day, what you can do is you try to do more of that. So you try to do more than the 20 productive habits, and you try to be more productive for over 610 minutes that day. And then once you beat that, you replace that with a new record. So you're trying to beat your productive day record. So you base your high score based on total productive minutes and total amount of work you did that day on your success habits. So now once you know your most productive minutes in a day and most of my habits you did in a day, then what you want to do is at the end of the day, you want to see your results. So what you want to do is just get a calculator and then add up your daily productive minutes. So all the time you focused on your success habits, you add it all up with the calculator. And the great thing about this is that you can also see how much work you did that day. So you can see how many habits you did, you can see which habits you did do, and you can also see which habits you didn't do. And you can ask yourself, why didn't I do these habits? Maybe it's I didn't know what to do. Maybe I didn't find it helpful enough. So this will give you a lot of data for your habits. So give this system a try and leave in the comments below your most productive minutes in a day.